Celebrities getting plastic surgery is no surprise anymore, but sometimes the procedures don't go the way they planned. I mean, surgery is always a risk. Today on Beyond the Screen, we're looking at 10 celebrities with terrible plastic surgery. This is not to say that these celebrities look ugly, it's just a cosmetic nightmare that we could technically blame on the surgeons. I'm your host for this one, I'm Jocelyn Tabar. Subscribe and ring the bell to hang out with us every day. In the meantime though, let's learn more about plastic surgery. Kicking off this list is Jocelyn Wildenstein. She's an American socialite but is known for her extensive cosmetic surgery which resulted in her cat-like appearance. During an interview with Dr. Young, a popular celebrity plastic surgeon, he said, "Jocelyn is a poster child for plastic surgery gone wrong. Reports say that she underwent dozens of surgeries in an attempt to win back her husband, Alec Wildenstein, after her divorce from the billionaire was heavily documented." Dr. Young thinks she might have undergone a brow lift, facelift, lip plumping injections, chin augmentation, fat grafting and or cheek implants, upper and lower eyelid surgery, and canthopexy, which is a procedure that gives your eyes that cat-like appearance. However, Jocelyn has always denied getting any plastic surgery and says that she has always looked this way, despite photos completely proving that otherwise. Up next, number 9 is Tara Reid. Most of us would look at her in the American Pie movies and say she looks absolutely perfect. There is no denying that she is a total babe. But in 2006, she decided she wanted to get some plastic surgery and got a procedure called liposculpting, which ended up going horribly wrong. She has openly talked about it and said the surgery completely botched her stomach. She even went as far as saying it was the reason that she couldn't book any movie roles after that. During an interview in 2007, she said, "My stomach became the most ripply bulgy thing. I had a hernia, this huge bump next to my belly button. As a result, I couldn't wear a bikini. I lost a lot of work." Tara also admitted that her breast implants were botched by the same doctor and she was left with deformed nipples. Honestly, what a nightmare. I mean, maybe the first time you should have learned not to use the same doctor. I'd be suing. I'll tell you that much. Swiping the number 8 spot is Carrot Top. The comedian's real name is Scott Thompson, but he got the nickname through his stand-up comedy career. Over the years, people have accused him of getting plastic surgery, which he has always denied. Whenever he's been asked about it during an interview, he always says that it is makeup that makes him look so different. But Dr. Young has given his professional opinion. He said, "Carrot Top is looking more and more like a muscle-bound cartoon character. He seems to have an excessively arched brow and a smooth face, possibly the result of laser treatments or chemical peels." So there is no confirming that he has had any work done. If he says he hasn't, like, we might want to believe him, but there is a huge difference when looking at old pictures and new ones. It honestly just looks like every part of every feature is just glued in place. Like, it's very, you know what I'm trying to say there? In spot number 7 is Heidi Montag. The Hill star could now be called the plastic surgery queen because she did what seemed like the impossible and underwent 10 surgeries at one time. And I'm not talking about like cosmetic procedures like little fillers, I am talking about full out surgeries. Heidi openly talked about it and revealed at one point that she was almost dead on the table and they didn't know if she would make it out alive. The long list of surgeries include a brow lift, Botox in her face, a nose job, a chin reduction, fat injection in the cheeks, ears pinned back, nasolabial folds, lip, neck, waist, hip and thigh liposuction, breast implants to a size F, a butt augmentation, and her back curved. Honestly, half this list I didn't even know you could do to your body. Heidi said at the time she wanted to look like Barbie and she actually wanted size H breasts, H for Heidi she said, but they wouldn't fit. However, now she fully regrets her surgeries and said that she would never do it again and does not wish that upon anyone. Moving on to number 6, we have Mickey Rourke. At one point in time, he was being called the next Marlon Brando and was starring in movies like Body Heat and Angel Heart. But his looks have changed drastically, and not in a bad way, it's just different than what we're used to seeing. In 2017, pictures of his new look went viral and had people shocked at how unrecognizable he was. He's opened up about the surgeries and said it was all a result of injuries that he got from his time as a boxer. He said, "Most of it was to mend my face, but I went to the wrong guy to put my face back back together. I had my nose broken twice, I had 5 operations on my nose and 1 on my smashed cheekbone. It has been an ongoing debate on whether it was for injuries or cosmetic reasons, but to me it kind of sounds like a mix of both. Like, because of the injuries, he probably wanted some like cosmetic help, you know, to fix things. Halfway through the list, number 5 is Rodrigo Alves. He is famous because of his plastic surgery transformation, as he transformed basically into a human Ken doll. He became a television personality, and as of 2018, he had undergone more than 103 cosmetic procedures. 51 of them were plastic surgeries. But not all of his surgeries went smoothly, and one of them in 2018 left him with a sinking nose. He explained to his followers that he had 11 nose jobs over the years and that his nose is basically just collapsing. Now, I should mention that he has recently transitioned into a female and prefers to go by the name Roddy. During an interview in January, she said that she regrets the plastic surgery as the Ken doll because she just got it to try and make herself more manly to fight her feelings of wanting to become a woman. Next up at number 4 is Kenny Rogers. Back in 2006, he told People magazine that he was not happy with his plastic surgery after his eye lift procedure. He said that it drove him crazy. His eye lift basically tightened his eyelids and it almost pinned them like in a new place on his face. Dr. Young spoke on his procedure and said, Kenny Rogers gambled with plastic surgery and lost. With his tight eyelids, he no longer looks like the scruffy, masculine man we knew in the 70s. He does look different when comparing before and after pictures, but I honestly don't think the surgery looks that bad. Like, it's not as intense as other ones that we've seen on this list, but I get what they mean. It does look maybe a little more feminine, people would say. In the 3rd spot is Pete Burns. The singer from Dead or Alive sadly passed away in 2016, and before his death, he revealed that his plastic surgery almost killed him. During an interview, he opened up about his plastic surgery, saying he had more than 300 procedures done, which led him to almost dying just 3 weeks before his actual death of cardiac arrest. A month before that, he went on the TV show Botched Bodies, where he revealed that he went into depression because of his botched procedures. He ended up with blood clots and pulmonary embolisms in his heart, legs, and lungs, which left him close to death. The doctor actually told his family that there was a 2% chance of survival, and his family called in a priest thinking that they would lose him. He was in the hospital for 10 days before he had recovered. Making her way into number 2 is Donatella Versace. She is the chief designer and vice president of Versace with a company value of $2 billion. She is 65 years old and continues to deny having any kind of work done to her face, but people have been calling her out on it for years, even doctors. She looks drastically different and says that it is because she uses a lot of creams and good face products. She did admit to some Botox, but says there has not been anything else, so I will let you guys be your own judge. Dr. Young says that she developed something called a trout pout, which is when your top lip is bigger than your bottom lip. Naturally, the human body's bottom lip is normally 50% bigger, but he says it would be reversed if you had fillers and other work done on the face. Earning the number 1 spot is Michael Jackson. After his death, we heard from people we did not expect. His plastic surgeon through the 1980s and 90s, Stephen M. Hoffman, and his dermatologist Arnold Klein. There were many theories going around at the time about the reasoning behind his drastic transformation. Arnold explained that he had body dysmorphic disorder and saw his nose as getting fatter even though it was getting smaller. Michael always said he only had 2 nose jobs done, but the experts said it's impossible for one's nose to look like that after just 2. He actually estimated that he had closer to 20 procedures done to his nose over the years. An expert also said that he had his hairline, eyebrows, and eyelash lines tattooed, as well as using a skin lightening bleaching cream. Now, I know this whole bleaching thing has always been a very big debate because Michael said that he never used that, so I'm not trying to accuse anyone of anything. This is just from an expert standpoint. They think that he used a bleaching cream. Like, that's crazy that that even exists. Beginning our list at number 10 is Yolanda Hadid. In case you're wondering how Bella and Gigi Hadid turned out to be so beautiful, that's where Yolanda comes in. Their mom was once a model herself and also starred on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's been open about her battle with Lyme disease, which caused a lot of health issues for her due to her breast implants and fillers in her face. Her implants were removed in 2015 after doctors discovered one implant had ruptured and was leaking silicone into her chest cavity, which was aggravating her Lyme disease symptoms. She didn't explain what caused the implant to rupture. Sometimes with bad plastic surgery, it can just happen as like a freak accident, but she ended up removing everything from her body and shared a photo of her results on Instagram. She shared an empowering photo of her at 55 years old in lingerie, saying that she removed all implants, Botox, and fillers and has never felt better. She looks so good. She never needed them because she looks phenomenal. Coming in at number 9 is Jessica Simpson. She revealed a lot about her personal life in January of 2020 when she released her memoir titled Open Book. She shared some of her struggles like her addiction to alcohol, but she also opened up about her experience with plastic surgery. In 2015, she had 2 tummy tuck surgeries which left her with some complications after the second procedure. She explained why she got it in the first place and said, "I wanted to get rid of the stretch marks and loose skin left sagging from my back-to-back pregnancies. I was so ashamed of my body at this point that I wouldn't let Eric see me without a t-shirt on." Eric being her husband. Turns out she got an infection from one of the surgeries and she was in the hospital for 9 days. She was vomiting so much that doctors thought she was gonna burst something and told her that she might need a blood transfusion. Coming into number 8 is Axl Rose. The Guns N' Roses singer disappeared in the mid-90s when the band started to fall apart, but he returned down the road with a completely new look. He hasn't been very open about his surgery experience and has always dodged the rumors, but fans were quick to point out how different his face looks. They think it was his transformation that actually had him in hiding all those years before releasing a new album with Guns N' Roses in 2008, which was 15 years after they had first fallen out. With his disappearance and the new look, reports were made that he had some work done and also Botox and hair transplants. I mean, there's no denying it. He looks very different. Sliding into number 7 is Dana Delany. The Desperate Housewives actress wishes she could undo some of the work she's had done. That's how bad her experience was. One of the procedures in particular was a nightmare for her. She told Prevention magazine in 2010 that her dermatologist injected Botox in her forehead and hit a nerve which created a huge hematoma. She said, "The nerve has been dead ever since. It affected the muscle in my right eye, so my eye has started to droop a little. I noticed it more than anybody else, but I was symmetrical before and now I am not." We might not be able to tell the mistakes made in her transformation, but I can imagine how awful that would feel to like look in the mirror every day and not see yourself as symmetrical or not being happy with the procedure. I looked at her pictures. I don't notice anything. Up next, number 6 is Joan Van Ark. Jaws dropped earlier this year when the 76-year-old actress showed up to an event in January 2020 and her face looked like it had melted off. Those were the words from a witness who did an interview with Globe. She was once the leading face of primetime soap operas before she made some adjustments to her face. According to a few surgeons, she had several surgeries on her face, including eyelid reconstruction and chemical peels. Apparently she had some issues after some of her procedures, so she went back to try and fix them, but then it only made it worse, which eventually led to her skin looking like it was melting off her face. Now, I've seen some pictures, and I don't know if it's right to say it looks like it's melting off. Her skin doesn't look real, it looks a little waxy, so maybe that's what they mean. Like, it really doesn't look real. Halfway through at number 5 is Farrah Abraham. Even if you don't follow her career closely, you've probably seen some of the photos when she had a procedure done on her face and was left with massive lips. Her photos made the cover of magazines, which is probably the last thing she wanted. The teen mom star is known for her plastic surgery and massive transformation, looking like a completely different person than when she was introduced on MTV's show 16 and Pregnant. Her entire body is plastic, and she openly admits that. But one facial procedure, lip injections, left her completely botched and tripled her lip size. Turns out she had a really bad allergic reaction, even though it was not her first time getting them done. It's hard to say who is to blame for the blow up, but it hasn't stopped her from going back and getting more. So, couldn't have been that bad. She did look like Donald Duck for some time though. Cruising into number 4 is Michaela Romanini. For many years she was one of Italy's biggest stars and was titled one of the most beautiful women in the country. But then she got a ton of plastic surgery and was left looking completely unrecognizable. Reports have said that she doesn't regret any of the procedures, despite the media outlets saying that she looks like an alien. Plastic surgery soon became an addiction to her after she became obsessed with lip collagen injections. Her lips are so big that it's honestly hard to believe you can fit any more collagen in there. I'm not kidding. But you won't convince her of that because she still goes on and on. In the third spot is Reed Ewing. The actor is known for playing Dylan in the ABC comedy Modern Family and also Charlie in the TV series Zeke and Luther. In 2015 he opened up about his plastic surgery transformation and said he underwent surgery because he had body dysmorphia. He said he regrets it more than anything and wishes he never did it. It all started in 2008 when he was just 19 years old. He made his first appointment to meet with a cosmetic surgeon. He said that doctor convinced him that large cheek implants would fix the issue in his face, but when he woke up from surgery he was screaming in pain. He went back to another doctor 6 months later to get it fixed, and over the next few years he continued to get more procedures done. He ended up going into depression, he says, and was dealing with a lot of mental health issues and an eating disorder. He actually went into hiding after the surgeries, but the photos of him now, all these years later, he really doesn't look bad at all. So it all worked out. Taking over the number 2 spot is Jennifer Grey. You may have heard her story on our other list because her surgery experience was so bad that she greatly regrets it more than anything in her life. She says her plastic surgery is what ruined her entire career. The Dirty Dancing star has always had a distinctive face and often booked roles because of it. But when she decided to get rhinoplasty, it changed everything, and she said it was the worst decision that she's ever made. She said the operation completely changed her face and she was unable to book roles after that. When speaking about it during an interview, she said, "I went in the operating room as a celebrity and came out anonymous. It was like being in a witness protection program or being invisible. I'll always be this once famous actress nobody recognizes because of my nose job." By no means does she look ugly. I have looked at pictures. However, I get what she's saying because when you compare it to her before and after photos, she does look like a different person. In the number 1 spot is Amanda Lepore. The famous transgender diva got herself the title of a moving sculpture after the many plastic surgeries she had done. She's always been very open and honest about her transformation and has no problem flaunting her very plastic surgery journey. To sum it up quickly, she had alterations done to basically every part that the body could physically have done. She has had booty silicone injections, a nose job, a facelift, her hairline lowered, cheek fillers, breast implants, and to get an hourglass figure, she even had her bottom ribs broken. It has been reported that the total cost of all her cosmetic procedures is over $1 million. But she loves that people tell her she looks like a doll. She actually wrote a book called Doll Parts where she shares every detail about her journey as a transgender beauty queen. Jocelyn Wildenstein, also known as Catwoman, has caused a huge debate with her drastic transformation, and we are taking a look at her journey from how she looked then versus now and what exactly changed along the way. I'm your host for this one, Josh Bedard. Thanks for coming back to Top 10 Beyond the Screen. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and leave us a like because it really helps us out. The 80-year-old socialite has been known for her highly publicized divorce settlement and for her changing face, which earned her the nickname Catwoman. She was awarded $2.5 billion from her former husband Alec Wildenstein. Their divorce was famous in the 1990s and was one of the biggest divorce settlements in history. But the huge divorce payout was not the only thing that got her worldwide fame. So did her drastic plastic surgery transformation. Her transformation has been widely reported, and reports say that she had made the changes to her face in order to allegedly please her husband. She has denied these claims, but that does not stop people from making harsh claims against her feline features. There is more that meets the eye though. She has had a pretty amazing life that not a lot of people take the time to learn about. She was born in Switzerland and had a middle-class upbringing up until the age of 17 when she made the decision to move to Paris. She began dating a Swiss movie producer, and after 2 years together they moved to Paris. That is when she said her life completely changed and she was first introduced to that glamorous lifestyle. She told New York Magazine that she never intended to pursue a career, but that she had a rare talent of decorating, so she calls it, and that she loved to do it. Later on, she dated another filmmaker for 5 years, Sergio Gabi, and spent a lot of her time exploring Africa. Before she knew it, her life as a socialite began to move in elite circles across the world. In 1997, when she was on a safari with friends in Kenya, she was introduced to her future husband, at the time Alec, who came from a family of art collectors and horse racing experts. Because of her love for decorating, it is no surprise that they could both admire art together. The two of them eloped in Las Vegas in 1978 and went on to have 2 children together. After 1 year of being married, it appeared that Jocelyn started to use her wealth on plastic surgery procedures. According to a number of biographies, she and her husband got his and her eye lifts, and as her career continued, she continued to make her appearance look more feline, cat-like, whatever that means. According to the Daily Mail, she spent $2 million on surgeries to please her husband, who just so happened to love big cats. She actually kept a lynx as a pet and told Vanity Fair that the lynx has perfect eyes. So there's always been this story surrounding her that she wanted to look like a cat. But there's no confirmation that her husband wanted her to look this way. Alec Wildenstein has actually talked about her transformation with Vanity Fair and said, "She was crazy. I would always find out last. She was thinking that she could fix her face like a piece of furniture. Skin does not work that way," but she wouldn't listen. In 1997, Jocelyn said she found her husband in bed with a 21-year-old model, which led to an altercation. Alec allegedly pulled a gun on Jocelyn and spent the night in jail. Later that year, he ended up leaving her and the divorce proceedings started immediately. The divorce was actually very messy, and that's probably why it was highly documented, and it actually went on for 2 years. Sounds like a nightmare. The press coverage of the very messy divorce was bad for Jocelyn because it centered around her looks. Tabloids started dubbing her the Bride of Wildenstein and Catwoman. It was at that point that she hired Republican campaign consultant and advisor Edward Rollins to handle her PR, because it got serious. Eventually though, she was awarded $2.5 billion as the divorce settlement and $100 million each year for 13 years afterwards. That's insane. Where's this money coming from? However, the judge stipulated that she could not use any of her divorce payments for more cosmetic surgery. Can you even do that? Can a judge tell you how to spend your divorce money? I'm actually wondering, so please let me know. Sadly, Alec passed away at the age of 67 back in 2008, and since their divorce, Jocelyn has kept a very low profile when it comes to big public events. But she did move on from Alec and started dating a fashion designer named Lloyd Klein in the early 2000s. The two of them aren't pictured together often, but when they are, it is usually at a high fashion or elite art event, which is where Jocelyn's passion for decoration still lies. Now, when it comes to her plastic surgery, people have accused her of having an addiction to it, which she denies. During an interview with the Daily Mail, she actually denied having cosmetic surgery at all and said her high cheekbones were from her natural Swiss background. When asked directly if she's ever had surgery, she said, I quote, "No, especially when you look back at my pictures. I think of course I am maybe more beautiful back then. When we are young, there's a certain freshness we lose with years, but you still find the same eyes, same high cheeks, or same nose." She has never admitted to getting work done, and her now fiance, Lloyd Klein, says he believes that she has not either. He also told Daily Mail that when they are in France, she is often mistaken for the French actress Brigitte Bardot. In 2018, she did a very unexpected interview with Paper Magazine after staying silent for almost 20 years. She did the interview with Lloyd, and they both told the magazine that the plastic surgery stories all came from her ex-husband Alec and that they are not true. They even showed photos of Jocelyn when she was 17 and 18 and pointed out that she's always looked like a cat and had cat-shaped eyes. She ended the interview by saying people in her life who knew her as a teen would know that she has not had any surgery and that she's nothing to prove to the rest of the world. As of right now, she is currently still with Lloyd Klein, and the two of them have gone through a lot of personal struggles recently after he was diagnosed with cancer. He was diagnosed with lymphoma cancer and was told he had 6 months to live if his body did not respond to the new treatment. In 2019, he revealed his brand new face after beating cancer and said he is very happy with the procedure and called it magic. He happily showed his new look on the Daily Mail TV and announced that he was cancer-free, which is great, that's so exciting. But what shocked people the most was that he revealed Jocelyn has had work done on her face. During this interview, he revealed that Jocelyn is considering getting the same procedure done that he's had. But he said She's known for going under the knife. She loves this technique. She actually approved of it. Jocelyn loves the result. She is considering to use the secret. Throughout all the interviews throughout her career, there has always been a lot of denial around the topic of plastic surgery. So this statement was very confusing to fans because they've been wanting her to just admit it for a long time. But she's also still like really not admitting it, but he kind of did. I don't know. Despite what we think, true or not, her look has drastically changed throughout her life. But the most important thing is she says she is happy with her appearance and encourages others to be the same.
There are a lot of celebrities and influencers who have altered their appearances. People like Donatella Versace and Amanda Lepore have very drastic and unique appearances, but I don't think any of them even come close to Sahar Tabar. Sahar is an Iranian social media star whose drastic appearance skyrocketed her to fame. People call her the zombie Angelina Jolie because of her corpse-like features. Some say that her appearance is both terrifying and intriguing because her sunken features baffle the minds of a lot of her followers. So how did this happen? How did she end up looking this way? Because she certainly was not born with these exaggerated features. And how have people reacted to her insane appearance? Before I get into things, please go ahead and leave us a like on the video because your likes really help us out a lot. So Sahar Tabar, also known as zombie Angelina Jolie, has risen to fame online because of her looks. Things started to take off for her in 2017 after posting pictures of herself on Instagram. She soon racked up hundreds of thousands of followers on social media because people were so intrigued with her drastic looks. Once she got media attention, people started asking the question on everybody's minds, this being, how did this happen? Sahar told sources that she had undergone over 50 plastic surgeries in order to look like her favorite actress, Angelina Jolie. Once these answers got out, fans went from being puzzled about her appearance to being a little horrified that she got so many procedures done, which resulted in her achieving this eerie sunken-in look. Trans model Amanda Lepore is another celebrity who's undergone a number of surgeries to achieve the look that she has now, but she doesn't even come close to the level of alteration that Sahar has achieved. This 20-year-old corpse bride, as some have taken to calling her, has seemingly done the impossible and has changed the entire structure of her face to make herself look more beautiful. Or at least this is what people were led to believe for a long time. After blowing up on social media and going along with this story that 50 surgeries achieved this drastic zombified look, Sahar came clean about everything, and it's a little shocking. Turns out everything was a lie. The zombie Angelina look, the story of how she got to look this way, and even her name turned out to be one huge lie. Sahar's real name turned out to be Fatima Kishvand, and no, she hasn't really gotten 50 surgeries either. Her entire corpse bride look comes entirely from Photoshop, as it turns out. After posting a side-by-side comparison to her Instagram, she came clean to her followers, showing how she really looks. I mean, for a long time, people suspected that Sahar's look were the result of Photoshop and makeup because the images looked so unnatural. But it's still so crazy to see her before and after pictures. The image on the left shows Tabar in her natural state. No sunken in eyes or giant lips or sharpened cheek and jawbones. She looks like a normal, albeit very beautiful woman. The image on the right shows what people had thought she looked like for years. She captioned the image revealing her editing secret, saying, quote, "People are probably living in the 18th century and they haven't seen or heard of technology or makeup and they're really surprised," end quote. I mean, I'll give it to her, that almost mummified version of herself really does look like Angelina Jolie in a way, but it's also a little nightmare inducing, not gonna lie. All in all, the facial structure was faked. Her lips were enhanced in post, and her icy blue eyes were just contacts that she used to enhance the look. Sahar has admitted to getting some work done, but not nearly as much as she once lied about. No, instead the influencer has gotten a quote, nose job, enlarged mouth, and liposuction. Now that we know the truth, it's no harm, no foul, right? Well, think again. Tabar's online antics were taken very harshly by the Iranian government, and so she was charged with corruption of young people and disrespect to the Islamic Republic. The influencer started off trolling people online with drastic looks, and instead of making people laugh, it made people mad. Her doctored selfies aren't the only things that led to her arrest, but it's the most prevalent reason. Now Sahar is sentenced to 10 years in prison for her online antics, and her Instagram account has been deactivated. Tabar's lawyers have been trying to get her freed after some of her other other charges like blasphemy and inciting violence were dropped, and even after she contracted COVID-19 while behind bars. This hasn't seemed to work though, but there are still some who are looking for support for the influencer. Masih Alinejad, an Iranian journalist and activist, even contacted the real Angelina Jolie for help freeing Sahar, since the actress is known for her humanitarian efforts. It seemed only fitting for Angelina to free her doppelganger. Alinejad has said publicly that this punishment is not fair, saying, quote, "Islamic Republic has a history of tormenting women. We need to be united against this gender apartheid," end quote. It's so crazy to think that this girl's effort at trolling the internet with her drastic looks has resulted in her getting jail time. I have to say, I kind of feel bad for her. I mean, I don't know their laws over there, so I'm not really one to interject, but I feel like a 10-year sentence is a little harsh. But then again, there could be a bunch of other undisclosed information about this case that we don't know about. Now, I want to know what you guys think about Sahar Tabar and her drastic looks. Even though they're fake, I want to know if you thought they were real at first and how you felt about them. Were they scary? Intriguing? Did you believe that she actually had 50 surgeries? Let me know down in the comments.